Hello and welcome to another one of my gaming videos. Now this video is going to be quite a bit different because this is not me playing a game actually. It is me showing you something that I am currently working on. So let's just go right ahead and I'm going to show you it right here. I'm working on a map from my home area. So I've been wondering a little bit why there actually was a seasons geomod for Denmark, but there doesn't seem to be any maps for Denmark. So I thought I would try to alleviate that by making a map myself. Now, I am quite new at doing anything in Giants Editor, and I am really not that experienced in using 3ds Max, even though I have it. I haven't tried using Blender or Maya or anything like that. But I have some experience using 3ds Max, so I might try to develop some of my own buildings in that. Obviously, I can show you one thing that I need to change. Let me just zoom in if it's still here. Apparently it is not. Maybe it's below. So this is one of the buildings from, I think it's Felsbrunn. Now, Denmark and Germany is quite close, especially if you come from a country like the United States. You might even argue that Denmark could be sort of a sub-portion of the state Germany, but that is not the case. We actually have a very different language. So here it says Landmaschinen, which basically means farming tools, farming machines. In Denmark, we would call that landbrugsmaskiner. So in order to make this realistic, I would have to change that. And the only way I really can see how to change that in a convincing way would be to make my own building in 3ds Max or something like that. But nevertheless, the building is down here because, well, I have added a height map that is an actual satellite survey of Denmark. Now, the resolution of that map is not that good, but I hope that it is good enough for what I'm doing here. I might need to even it out a little bit. You can see it's still very rough, but I will say, given the fact that I am from this area, I do know that it is not that far-fetched. Let me just see if I can show you. I think that where I grew up as a child would be somewhere around here. I think this is the area because my parents is living just outside this. We can stand here in our house and then we can look just over at this farm over here. Unfortunately, I cannot show you how I have made this map here because I made it with the height map. So unfortunately, I cannot show you how I made this height map. Well, simply because I don't have access to that program anymore. It was a test program, so I could check it out. So that's not an option. You can find a couple of tutorials on how to do that. I can tell you right now, I can show you that the programs are called Global Mapper. And then I've used a program called Terra Incognita. And then also another program, where is it? There it was, LD3, not lead, L3DT Pro. So these are the three main programs that I used. I also used Google Maps in order to find the area where the coordinates for what I wanted to do. But Global Mapper is the program you use to make the height map and the road maps. And then you use L3DT Pro to make your height map suitable for something like a farming simulator. This is the height map I have here. The reason why the buildings is missing is because I am using a flat plane with a map on. So I can show you that if you just hold on for just 1 second. As you can see now, here's a lot of road and buildings and stuff I am planning on putting into the map at some point. I have already made a couple of roads. They're probably floating around in midair right now. Let me just see if I can find them. Yeah, up here, as you can see. So this is the height difference. This is the flat map, as you can see. And this is where the actual height will be on the actual map. You can see the building here. I have just put it in because I needed to buy some tools. And I've put in a couple of buildings just to show you how this little town area here will roughly look. Actually, to show me how the town area would roughly look. But let me just try to enable the satellite map that I made. I use Terra Incognita to make that. You can, if you don't want the height map, if that doesn't matter to you, then you can get a Terra Incognita, and then you can download a very high resolution map of the area that you are from. And then you can simply just add that as a texture to your map. So let me just to a flat plane. So you will go, I'm not going to do it, but you will go over here and then you will take a plane, make a primitive of that. And then let me just see if I can find my plane. It is here. And let me just show you. So my map is a 4 kilometer by 4 kilometer map. So that is 4096 by 4096. And then you will give, that was not what I want to do. So like that. Let me just get the material so you can see here. This is the material that I have. So in my, I used Photoshop for this. You can also use GIMP or anything like that. I just made it transparent so that I could see what I made through the texture itself. Because the plane you make, if you don't give it a color or anything like that, it will be transparent from the start. So these are the three things that you need to change. So I can close this off. You need to add a material to your plane. You need to change the size for whatever size map you're working on. So if you're working on a 2 kilometer map, it will be 2048 by 2048, in this case 4096. And in an 8K map, that would be 8,168 or something like that. You just have to double this up. That's all. The scale in the Y, you should probably don't set that to more than 1. Now, the final thing that I sort of work on a little bit, let me see if I can find it. It's here, shape, perhaps? Yes. So there are two things. Let me just move this out of the way. There are two things you need to consider when you're doing this. You have this non-renderable option here. Now, I am pretty sure that most people use this for when you are want your building. So for instance, if you make a spline for traffic or pedestrians, then you wouldn't want that spline to be as a line on your map, and then you would check this non-renderable option here, because that will, well, make it non-renderable. But the other thing is that sometimes you need to see how you're working on your fields, how they look, without having the satellite image behind. And that is why I have clicked the non-renderable. But if I unclick it, you can see this is the satellite map that I'm working on. So this is a way to make your fields. Let me just show you exactly what I talked about now that we're here. This house, you see, this house right here is where I grew up. So this is the house, and this is the garage, this is the garden. Somewhere around here should be my old playhouse. Yeah, as you can see, these buildings are a little bit bigger than they are here, but it is not that far-fetched. All right, so let me just put this out of the way, and then you can take a look at how this map will roughly look. Let me just try to click a few times so that you can see the difference between the satellite and the non-satellite. Now, as you can see, this is very much a work in progress. Let me just show you. This is how far I've gone by now, and this is how the satellite images look. Now, when you're making maps like this, there are some places you need to be a little bit non-detailed. You need to make some compromises with the details. For instance, some of the roads here are very short, and you can see that there are differences between the width of the road here and the width of the road here. So in honesty, I have made the fields a little bit. Also, you can see I made the fields a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller somewhere around. Also, you can see here there's a road between here, and then there are places. For instance, here you have some crops sowed here, and you have other crops sowed here. Now, should that be two separate fields, or should it be one big field? Should these be connected? And that is considerations that I have to make for myself. That is not something that it is directly obvious from the satellite image. But again, this is a very, very much a work in progress. So let me just show you how I actually change. Now this is the flat plane. So let's just exit it. Yes, we don't want to save it. And then I go into, you can see I have map.de here. And then I have two, this is the satellite image that I have. So this is the height map. This is the flat plane map. You can make this for yourself. It just has to be the half of the size of your map. So in this case, it is 2048 by 2048. And then whenever you save it, the Giant editor will automatically make it a 2049 size map. So there's a row of pixels or a row of pixels in excess in both sides. But nevertheless, this is the height map that I'm using. Let me just see if I can show you it. The Windows 8 image thingy is not that. Let me just see if I can open up a view X large icon, so you might be able to see it here. Map.dem. So this is the grass that I have put in almost all the places. You can see the black areas is where the roads are. This is gravel, where I've put in gravel. Now, if you want to, if you want to edit this using again GIMP or something like that, you can do it for yourself. You just have to be very sure that these are in a very specific format. Let me just show you. They need to be, you have to you have to be exactly sure that you do it like that. They have to be the same dimensions of your map, obviously. They have to be in an 8-bit per color value. The bit depth has to be 8. If it's anything else, and you have to turn off the gamma or anything like that. You only have to, it can only be gray nuances, so from black to white. That's all, nothing else. Otherwise it won't load, and Giant editor will show you that. But nevertheless, let me open Notepad++. So as you can see, I have called the actual height map map.de _dem .new.png, and the only difference is that this is not called new. And then I just go into, I find it here, the file name, the file ID, and then I just change it. You're just using my telescope, not my keyboard, and change it to the name that I have. Then I go back, go into map.de. There we go. So now we have the actual height map. No, that was really not what I wanted. So let's, not again. So let's go back in here and see if we can figure out a way to get that building up where it should be. And now you can see the roads are also roughly fitting. So let me just see if I can lure out the building. Let me see, buildings, vehicle shop. Let me just pull it up like that so we can see it. There we go. And then we should also get the interactive, let me just show you, I'm working on this right here. So we have interactive areas, we have the vehicle shop gameplay. We need to get that up as well, if I can figure out where in the world it is. It should be down here somewhere. Let's see, store place, vehicle shop trigger. Yeah, so let's pull that up. So I need to, you can't really see whether this is above or below the map. It's a little bit harder to see. It seems to be definitely below. Let's get it up. Above. I think this should be relatively okay. Need to go really close to the map in order to see it. I think that's okay. So let's take the shop place 2 start and let's get it up. I think this should probably do it like that. Let's take shop place 3. Now, the idea here is that I want to make some... If you want to see it, I'm going to make you some... It's not really going to be tutorials in that sense. It is more just going to be me showing you the progress on how I make this map here. And the vehicle shop trigger, where are you? It is here. Let's move that up as well. Now, this should be visible, so this should be a whole lot easier to... There we go. Like that. Yes. Now we're here. And, well, I'm not going to pull up all the other buildings, but let's save it. And then I will get back to you when we are actually in the map, in the game. I'm going to add a heck of a lot of money because I want to have the freedom to buy whatever I need. And also we can check out some of the fields that are actually functional. So see how they work out. All right, but I will see you there in just a short bit. Now we are back at the actual map in-game. As you can see, I've added the height map. You can see it seems a bit rough. Not unrealistic, but it is a bit rough. Maybe I have to change it a little bit, change the differences from the white to the black. But I have also enabled the cheats so I can run fast. It's a little bit easier to show you all the parts of the map if I can be a little faster. You can see here that the only field that I have enabled right now is field 1 and field 2. These are the only ones. So as you can see, the progress for this map here, it's a bit rough. There's a bit of way to go now, and for some reason also the shop is being marked at being down here. I expect that is because I haven't changed the actual position in the XML files yet. So this is, just bear in mind when I show you this map here, it is very much a work in progress. But let's try to, fortunately I know my way around here because I have lived here. Let me see if I can find some of the buildings. No, they are down there, beneath. But let's run up to the shop and see if we can buy a tractor. I'm going to buy the JCB because they are faster. And it is simply just to check out whether we can actually buy stuff here. And, well, this is the roundabout, so it should be here. I managed to fix it. You can see here that the vehicle shop is actually where it should be. And I have also managed to buy 2 implements and JCB tractor. I chose the fast track because, well, obviously it's fast. So let me see if yes, my steering wheel still works. And let's go down and try to buy a field. Now I can actually show you the exact route that I take when I drive home with my children to my parents. Now, as you can see here, like I said, it is very much a work in progress. This is not supposed to be like this. And some of these hills here seems to be a little bit rough, a little bit too much. It is supposed to go downhill, but it's not supposed to be sort of a jagged edge or something like that. Let me see. I think it's down here. Pretty sure it is. No, it's not. Let's just take the simple way. Should be this road here then. Yep. So this is somewhat roughly the area that I live in. Let's try to buy this big field and see if we can actually plow it. We should have enough money. Obviously, I want to make sure that you know that you don't need a height map like this. You don't need to make the height map. You can make it yourself if you want to. You can also download a real height map with the contours and then just roughly try to make the heights after that. But let's see if we should be able to buy field 1 and 2 for 1.9 million. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go and plow field 2 then. Just should be this way here. And obviously I also need to put in buildings and all those things. And seasons is also activated, that is why you don't see any crops. Let's see if guidance steering actually works. Like that. Let's try to make a route following this way here. See if it's going to snap. It doesn't seem to be able to make me a route at all. Let's see, Control S. Snap train angle, let's try to take that off. No, we need to show lines. Let me see if that was the problem. Yeah, it does like that. So let's turn snap train angle off and let's try to make a new one. Like that, roughly. So let's try to plow it a little bit and see what happens. Now, obviously, I think this tractor is grossly underpowered, but it's only for testing purposes. And it definitely seems that that part really works. So, in that case, the fields do really work, but you have a lot of extra field, as you can see, that I might remove or I might leave it be or something like that. That's, I would probably argue, is minor details. Alright. So let's, for the final part of this video, see if I can find the J key, take a little lofty tour of the map. Let's go up. Up, up and away. So this is the little tractor that we have. And this is the map as it looks from above. And you can see here there's a lot of fields that I haven't put in yet. There are parts of the hills here that I think may be a little bit too much. And unfortunately you can also see that let me just see if it makes any difference. If you go down, it shouldn't make that huge of a difference. As you can see, minor bumps, which is probably okay. But I do think that the bumps that you see here are in fact artifacts from the low resolution of the height map. That's just the way it has to be. I can spend some time trying to equal it out, but in all honesty, I won't do that unless I think it's a really big problem. But this is how the map looks for now. My home field, my hometown. Like I said, my home where I grew up as a child is roughly right there where I'm pointing right now. I also showed you that on the satellite map. And well, I look forward to showing you this map, partly because it's a map of my hometown, my home area, where I grew up, but also, and that is mainly, because I think there are too few maps of Denmark, if there are, in fact, any maps of Denmark. I don't think that. Let's go up and check this out. I want to see what this is. Seems to be a little bit of grass. It's an area where I didn't make the fields like they should be. Now, one of the things that is true is that up and around in this area here, it should be higher up. Oh, I forgot to enable it. You can see it's sloping down. Now, I know for a fact that that is true. And also the area over here should be sloping up, so that where I lived as a child is more or less a valley. Right around here should be a playground in this area here and a football field. So hopefully you can understand why I'm pretty excited to getting this map out as quickly as possible. But obviously I'm doing other stuff, so it's not that easy. But I'm working on it, and if you want to follow my progress and want to learn more about how I do things, like I said, I'm not going to make this a tutorial in that sense. I am only going to make it so that you can see how I do things. And that is all. I'm not going to make it a tutorial in any sense at all. Let me see if I didn't get this. I'm also going to show you some of the scripts that I found to use in order to align the roads here with the ground, and then try to shape up the outer edges here so that they follow. This is the edge of this is the end of the road. And I need to make some stuff here so that you don't just stand and look out. Wait, it's a nice view. So, like I said, it is really a work in progress, but it contains what I would say relatively big fields. Let's just check out how big this field over here is. It should be relatively big, and obviously it's also a big map. Now, I have chosen the satellite image here to be a square of 4 kilometer by 4 kilometers. So what you see here, the field sizes, if of course a giant has made it so that one pixel here, whatever you want to call it, should be roughly 1 meter, then the fields that you see here should be almost exactly in the correct shape and size compared to how they are in real life. So you should get as much feel as you can possibly get of being on a real farm on here. And obviously, let me just see if I can find it. This area here is going to be where you can put down some stuff, some farming things. I might have to expand it because it's really not that big. It's actually way too small. Maybe it's a road. No, I think it's a road. Yeah, this is the area where you can put down your stuff. But this is also really small. So, well, I guess it's okay. Obviously, if you want to remove the trees here. Now, that is also one consideration I have to do. Should I put in trees just along the edge, or should I put in trees in between, or whatever should I do? That depends a lot on how the fields are. Should I even it out so it's easier to build on? That is some considerations I have to make when I finish the map, but I just want to show you a very early version of the game. Now, you can see here that this is a 10 hectare field, and field 2 is 3 hectares, so it's a pretty big, those are pretty big fields. Alright, that is all I wanted to show you in this video. I hope that you have enjoyed it and that you are as excited to see this map in its full as I am. And then I will, I will see you in the next video, which is most likely going to be a real gaming video where I show you the new class pack that has come out, and I'm going to implement it into my Fenton Forest map. I know I said Fendt tractors for Fenton Forest seems like a match made in heaven, but it seems to me that the class equipment pack is more complete than the Fendt. So I'm going to switch totally over, and also because it's new, so we're going to take a look at the new tractors. I will see you then in the next video. Like always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and subscriptions, well, they always help me. So see you. Bye bye.